My name is Carter, and I'm a 35-year-old photographer. I decided to take a solo road trip through New Mexico, hoping to capture some stunning desert photos. I had no idea how terrifying this journey would become. One evening, while driving on a lonely road, my car suddenly sputtered and died. I tried restarting it, but it was no use. With no cell signal and the sun setting, I knew I had to find help. The nearest town was several miles away, and I had no choice but to start walking. After an hour of trudging through the dust and heat, I saw an old sign for a small diner just off the main road. I felt a surge of relief and hope. Maybe someone there could help me. As I got closer, I noticed the diner looked abandoned, but the lights were on inside. It seemed odd, but I was desperate. I pushed the door open and stepped in, met with eerie silence. The interior was musty and dimly lit. Old photos lined the walls, showing a family that once ran the diner. The place had a sense of nostalgia, but something felt off. I called out, "Hello, is anyone here?" But no one answered. Suddenly, I heard faint whispering. I turned and saw a group of dirty, ragged people staring at me from a dark corner. Their clothes were tattered, and their eyes were hollow, as if they'd been living there for years. My heart raced. What were they doing here? Before I could react, a man with wild eyes and unkempt hair approached me. "You need to leave," he said in a hoarse voice. "They don't like strangers." "Who are they?" I asked, my voice trembling. "The ones who live here," he replied, glancing nervously around. "You shouldn't be here. It's not safe." I felt a chill run down my spine. My instincts screamed at me to get out, but curiosity kept me rooted. "What happened to this place?" I asked, looking around at the decaying diner. The man shook his head. "This diner has a dark history. The family that ran it disappeared one night, and the place has been cursed ever since. People come in, but they don't leave." His words sent a wave of fear through me. I had to get out of there. I backed away slowly, then turned and ran out the door. My heart pounded as I sprinted back to my car, praying it would start. To my surprise, the car roared to life as soon as I turned the key. I didn't question my luck. I just floored the gas pedal and sped away from that creepy diner. As I drove, I glanced in the rearview mirror and saw the group standing outside, watching me with creepy smiles. Their eyes seemed to follow me, even as I disappeared into the night. I didn't stop driving until I reached a town several miles away. I checked into a motel, my mind racing with what I had just experienced. I wanted to tell someone, but I knew it sounded too bizarre to be true. Instead, I kept it to myself, replaying the events over and over in my head. The next day, I found a mechanic to fix my car. He looked at me curiously when I mentioned the diner. "You mean that old place off Route 66? He asked. "That place has been abandoned for decades. No one goes there." I shivered, realizing the gravity of what had happened. I had encountered something beyond explanation, something that defied logic. From that day on, I avoided that stretch of road, taking different routes whenever I traveled through New Mexico. Yet, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, as if those haunting eyes were still on me. To this day, I can't explain what I saw or why my car started so suddenly after I ran from the diner. But I know one thing for sure. I'll never forget that night, and I'll never go back to that diner. Some places are better left alone. Their secrets buried in the past. Whenever I hear about road trips or see photos of the New Mexico desert, I'm reminded of that eerie encounter. It's a story I never told anyone, until now. So, if you ever find yourself on a lonely road in New Mexico and see an old sign for a diner, do yourself a favor and keep driving. Trust me, you don't want to end up like me, haunted by the memory of a place that should have stayed forgotten.